Right now, in your pantry, you might have food that could outlive you, literally, but stored wrong, it could be useless in 6 months. What if I told you there are 12 foods that can last decades, even centuries, if you know the secret? In this video, you'll discover exactly which foods never expire, the science behind why they last forever, and the critical storage mistakes that could ruin them. By the end, you'll know how to build a pantry that's ready for anything, whether it's a natural disaster, economic uncertainty, or simply smart long-term planning. Welcome to Essential Pantry, where we help you prepare smart, not scared. If you're ready to take control of your food security, hit that like button and subscribe, because this information could be invaluable when you need it most. Before we dive into the specific foods, you need to understand why certain foods never expire. It's not magic, it's chemistry, and once you understand these principles, you'll know exactly how to store anything for maximum longevity. Foods that truly never expire fall into a few key categories. First, there's the absence of moisture. Water is what enables bacterial and mold growth. No water means no life, and no life means no spoilage. Second, low or no fats. Oils oxidize over time and turn rancid, which is why foods high in fat have shorter shelf lives. Third, insufficient nutrients for microbes. If there are no sugars, proteins, or carbs that bacteria can feast on, they simply can't survive. Fourth, strong acidity or saltiness. These environments kill or drastically inhibit microbial life. And fifth, controlled environments. Even the most stable foods need to be kept airtight and away from strong odors, heat, and humidity. Understanding these 5 mechanisms is what separates smart preparation from wasted money. These principles will guide every storage decision you make. So let's start with the most critical item of all: water. You can survive weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. That makes bottled water your first and foremost essential. Here's what most people don't understand. Water itself never expires. Pure H2O contains no sugars, proteins, or nutrients, so bacteria and mold can't grow in it. The FDA doesn't even require expiration dates on bottled water. But here's the catch: the water doesn't spoil, but the containers do. When you store plastic bottles in hot places like garages or cars, they leach microplastics and chemicals like BPA into the water. Bottles exposed to sunlight or temperatures above 25 degrees Celsius degrade rapidly. If you notice swollen bottles or if the water smells or tastes off, that's contamination. Don't take chances, throw it out. So how do you store water correctly? Keep it in cool indoor areas below 25 degrees Celsius and away from sunlight. Never store plastic containers near chemicals like gasoline or strong-smelling products, because those odors can taint the water through the plastic. For the absolute best long-term storage, use glass or steel containers instead of plastic, and always check your bottles periodically for damage or swelling. Stockpiling water isn't about panic, it's about calm foresight. Ask yourself right now, where are you storing your water, and is it in the right conditions? Next up is pure salt, the immortal preserver that's been used for thousands of years. Salt, or sodium chloride, is a mineral. It's utterly inhospitable to bacteria, mold, and rot. There's no protein, no fat, no sugar, and no moisture, which means there's literally nothing that can spoil, ever. Salt is one of the few foods that will outlast you, your children, and probably your grandchildren if stored correctly. But people still make storage mistakes with salt. The biggest one? Using iodized salt or salt with additives. For maximum purity and stability, stick with sea salt, kosher salt, or pink rock salt. These are pure and stable. Another mistake is vacuum sealing salt or using oxygen absorbers. This traps moisture inside, causing the salt to harden into unusable clumps. Instead, store salt in dry, sealed containers in a place protected from sunlight and humidity. Those are your only enemies. And here's something most people overlook. Salt isn't just for flavoring. It preserves foods, disinfects surfaces, helps clean wounds, and can even be mixed with sugar to create electrolyte solutions in emergencies. How secure is your salt supply right now? White sugar is another sweet survivor that outlasts almost everything. Sugar works because it absorbs and locks water away from bacteria. Being pure sucrose with no protein or fat, it creates an environment that's completely inhospitable to spoilage. Sugar found in ancient Egyptian tombs was still perfectly usable thousands of years later. But even sugar can be ruined by improper storage. Never use oxygen absorbers with sugar. They invite moisture in and turn your sugar into a hard rock brick. Also, keep sugar away from strong odors. Sugar picks up smells incredibly easily, and once it absorbs the scent of garlic or onions, it's ruined for most uses. Beyond sweetening, sugar has multiple survival applications. It aids in wound disinfection, preserves fruits through candying or jamming, and provides quick energy when you need it most. Always store it in a dry, sealed container and never place it next to pungent spices or strong-smelling foods. Now let's talk about pure honey, nature's truly indestructible elixir. Archaeologists have found honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that's over 3,000 years old, and it was still perfectly edible. How is that possible? Honey's lack of free moisture combined with its acidic pH creates an environment where nothing can grow. But here's the critical detail. Only pure honey fully preserves itself. Diluted honey or honey with added water can ferment and spoil.
That's completely natural and doesn't mean it's gone bad. Simply warm it gently and it will return to its liquid form. Never expose honey to water during storage because moisture activates enzymes that cause fermentation. Keep it in cool, tightly sealed jars. No refrigeration needed. Honey is more than just a sweetener. It's medicine, an energy source, a food preserver, and a wound treatment. Its reliability surpasses almost every modern convenience we take for granted. We've covered the foundation. Now let's move to the versatile staples that form the backbone of any long-term food supply. White rice is the staple that can last for decades when stored correctly. After milling, white rice has minimal oil, which means it doesn't oxidize like brown rice does. Low moisture and fat content mean bacteria and mold won't flourish. But here's what ruins rice: absorbing odors from spices or moisture from humid environments. Even if the rice doesn't technically spoil, it becomes unpalatable. Store rice in dry, clean, airtight containers and keep it away from strong-smelling foods and any source of humidity. Do this right and your rice will be edible for decades. The versatility of rice in tough times is unmatched. You can make porridge when water is scarce, create nutritious meals when combined with beans, and rely on it for enough energy to outlast chaos. Rice is the ultimate survival staple. Dry pasta is another durable morale food that lasts almost forever. With moisture completely removed, pasta is inhospitable to bacteria and mold. No water means no habitat for decay, which makes it practically immortal. But most pasta comes in paper packaging, which allows humidity and odors to seep in over time. For maximum shelf life, transfer your pasta to airtight containers and store them in cool, dry places. This simple step extends pasta from a few years to potentially decades. In times of shortage, dry pasta stretches existing ingredients, keeps meals varied, and provides a filling alternative alongside rice, beans, or canned items. It's comfort food that lasts. Dry beans are the nutritional powerhouse you absolutely need in your pantry. Beans are fat-free and extremely dry, which means they fend off rot and rancidity indefinitely. Time will harden them, but it doesn't diminish their nutritional value. Even beans that are decades old can be cooked, they just take longer to soften. Moisture is the only enemy of beans. If you store them in paper bags or damp places, they'll sprout or develop mold, ruining your entire supply. Always use airtight containers and keep them in dry, dark storage. When resources are scarce, beans cooked simply with water and salt provide complete protein and essential minerals. Combined with rice or pasta, they can substitute an entire meat-based diet cost-effectively and durably. Beans are non-negotiable for serious preparedness. Rolled oats offer stable breakfast solutions for years. Oats are steamed, flattened, and dried during processing, which leaves them with minimal oil and moisture. Mold and insects can't survive in properly sealed oats. But moisture is the critical threat here. If oats get damp, mold develops rapidly, and fungal toxins are unsafe even after cooking. Always store rolled oats in airtight containers away from humidity and strong odors. Do this, and they'll last indefinitely. Beyond morning porridge, rolled oats can be used to make bread, energy bars, thickeners for soups, and even ground into flour. They're comfort food when fresh options disappear, providing both nutrition and psychological stability through routine. Now let's talk about the power players, the foods that provide protein, acidity, and essential tools for survival. Canned meat is your long-term protein reserve. The canning process involves high-temperature cooking and airtight sealing, which obliterates all microbial hazards and puts the meat into a paused state. Those expiration dates you see on cans, they're best quality periods, not true spoilage times. Unless the can is swollen, rusted, or deeply dented, the food inside remains safe for many years beyond the printed date. Store cans in cool, dark spots and keep them intact. Damaged containers mean risk. If you see swelling, rust, or deep dents, dispose of them immediately. Canned meat offers protein, fat, and essential nutrition. More importantly, it provides an instant morale boost when familiar cooking resources vanish. There's something psychologically powerful about having real meat available during a crisis. Powdered milk provides nutrition in reserve when fresh dairy isn't available. Complete dehydration bars all bacterial and fungal growth, stabilizing fat and nutrients for decades as long as air and moisture are kept out. But here's where people mess up. Once you open a container of powdered milk, exposure to air and moisture leads to clumping and mold. Once contaminated, it can't be salvaged, even by cooking. Store powdered milk in airtight containers, separated from strong odors and out of direct sunlight. This ensures indefinite shelf life. You can mix it with oats, provide energy for children and the sick, or simply use it as breakfast in hard times. Distilled white vinegar is the universal protector you probably already have. Highly acidic with strong acetic acid content, distilled white vinegar repels microbes permanently. No refrigeration needed, no expiration date needed. But here's the key. It must be pure distilled white vinegar. Mixed vinegars with sugar, fruit, or coloring can spoil over time. Keep vinegar tightly sealed to prevent acid evaporation and store it in cool, dark places. Direct sunlight degrades quality over time. Beyond cooking, white vinegar disinfects surfaces, cleans kitchen tools, washes produce, neutralizes odors, and pickles foods when preservation is critical. It's one of the most versatile survival tools.
Baking soda is the immortal multitasker that never ages. As an inorganic compound, sodium bicarbonate contains no food-grade nutrients for microbes. It only reacts when exposed to acid or heat, which means it remains stable indefinitely in storage. But there's a critical mistake people make, storing baking soda near onions, garlic, soaps, or detergents. These odors quickly contaminate the baking soda and rob it of its culinary value. Keep separate containers for food-grade baking soda and cleaning-grade baking soda. In emergencies, baking soda works as an antacid, a fruit and vegetable wash, a deodorizer, and a powerful cleaning agent when paired with vinegar. Well-stored baking soda can replace entire cabinets worth of chemicals in a crisis. Keep it dry, sealed, and away from strong odors. So now you know the 12 foods that never expire, but knowing them isn't enough. You need a system. Stockpiling isn't hoarding, it's security. Each of these foods isn't just for emergencies. They're the backbone of your nutritional safety net, letting you weather storms without panic or dependency. Here are the 3 non-negotiable storage principles you must follow. First, moisture and odors are threats. Every single one of these foods requires dry, sealed, odor-free storage. Second, avoid paper packaging for grains and beans. Upgrade to airtight containers immediately. Third, inspect periodically, discard compromised items, and rotate stock when possible. But there's one more step that most people skip. Educate yourself and your household. Everyone in your home should know what's stored, where it's located, and how to use it. Knowledge is just as critical as the food itself.
When hardships arrive, it's not just the calories that matter. Routine, morale, and a sense of normalcy do too. These foods help sustain physical health through balanced sources of energy, protein, fat, fiber, and minerals. They support mental stability by preserving daily rituals like breakfast and regular meals, which supports psychological resilience. And they provide versatility and flexibility, allowing you to adapt recipes as ingredients change and maintain variety even with limited choices. Don't buy these foods blindly and forget about them. Learn the right storage methods, educate your family and friends, and adjust your stock as needed. Calm preparation is not fear-driven, it's wisdom. The true measure of survival isn't what you have, but how smartly you use and preserve it. Make your household a place of quiet confidence in the face of uncertainty. Understand these principles, prepare deliberately, and empower yourself for whatever comes. It's not just about surviving a crisis, it's about living through it well. By carefully selecting and storing these 12 foods, you provide your family with nutritional stability, peace of mind, and the strength to endure even when the outside world grows unpredictable. Know ahead, prepare early, live proactively. Let your next step be a deliberate move toward lasting security. If this video helped you, hit that like button, subscribe to Essential Pantry, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your preparation starts now.